Good morning, dear students. Today, let me welcome you to the second class of our topic, correct use of pronouns. Last class on 15th August, you got the previous video where we had the discussions about this topic, where we introduced what exactly the pronouns are and what are their different types and how we can use them, and for using them we have a lot of instructions to use them correctly, properly in our statements, speeches and in our text. So for today we will again recall the previous discussion and understand something more. And before understanding more about this correct use of pronouns, let us have a little concentration so that we can better understand. For that, we should have Brahmanath. Therefore, please sit Siddha with Dhyan Mudra and have Brahmanath. Om. Relax. Dear students, let me again welcome you to this class. And today we will discuss about the topic called correct use of pronouns. And for your information, last class we did discuss what exactly the pronouns are. What are the pronouns and how and why we use them. And to avoid the replication of the nouns again and again in our text, we use some words in place of them to substitute them. They are called pronouns. For example, also I have told you, Rama, in place of Rama we can use he, Sita, we can use she, fair, we can use it. So, Rama and Sita, we can use they. Therefore, these in place of these nouns, Rama, Sita, fair and all those things, we use he, she, it, they, which are the pronouns. They can be substituted with these nouns. And again, I have told you, there are different types of pronouns. For example, I have told you personal pronouns, which are associated with persons, like Rama, as you know he, Sita, you know she, fair, you know it. So similarly, we also came to know about some interrogative pronouns, some pronouns we use to have questions. They are called interrogative pronouns. And some indefinite pronouns as well. We did not elaborately discuss about them, but we discussed about the personal pronouns. And for your information, when we talk about personal pronouns have been used in different ways. That you know. We use them as a subject, we use them as an object, we use them possessives, and we use them reflexives. So last class we did discuss about them. And examples I have given I, because we have three different persons while using pronouns. First, second and third person. I and we are first person. So you, second, and he, she, it, they are the third persons. And while we use I as a subject, we can use me, and for possessives, mine, and for reflexives, myself, we have used. Similarly, we, us, our, ours, and ourselves. Similarly, you, your, yours, yourselves. Similarly, he, him, his, himself, she, her, hers, herself. That we analyzed in last class. Also, I have told you that while we talk about the possessives, you see possessives, they have been used in two ways. There are two types of possessives of some, the personal pronouns. These are the personal pronouns. You see, we have, for example, we have mine and mine. Mine is no doubt talking about possessive, but it is the possessive adjective, because it is used before a noun. This is my pen. So when I talk about pen, before using this word pen, I used mine. This word mine is functioning as an adjective of this pen, as well as it is talking about the ownership of the pen. Therefore, this mine is a possessive adjective, whereas mine is simply possessive pronoun. Because after mine, there is no such words that can be modified, enhanced, or qualified by the word mine. This pen is mine. Mine is the last word in this speech. Therefore, after this mine, there is no such noun. Therefore, the mine is only functioning as a pronoun, but it is not functioning as an adjective. But whereas mine is functioning as an adjective, therefore, it is called possessive adjective. It is simply possessive pronoun. You understood? And this is what the first of such instructions we should understand while using pronouns properly, correctly. So you can say this is such first rule. And let's understand this second rule. Okay? You see, the number rule for correct use of a pronoun. Let's understand what it tells and remember. See, what number 2 rule says, some possessive pronouns do not use apostrophe. Some possessive pronouns do not use apostrophe to show possessive case. For example, sometimes what we do, we write Ramos. Because Rama is a noun. So, sometimes we use a possessive case of pronouns like my and mine, your and yours. You see, your and yours. As we used apostrophe S with Rama to show it's a possessive case of Rama. Similarly, we do not use, you see, in possessive case of pronoun, we have my and mine, your and yours, hers, their and theirs. Understand? Her and hers, your and yours. So similarly, such words like ours, yours, hers, its and theirs never use apostrophe before S to show their possessive case. Okay? So, therefore, sometimes students are in confusion whether we will use apostrophe S over here to show the yours faithfully, yours obediently, ours school, and stay. So, in those words, we are using as possessive pronouns only to show the possessiveness, to show the possessive case of them. We never use apostrophe with them. Suppose if we write ours, then it is incorrect. It should be ours. So also yours, hers, its, theirs. Okay? This pen is yours. You can take. This chair is not hers. Anybody can sit over here. This school is not theirs. It's ours. Understand? So, while writing or speaking, we should never use apostrophe S with these possessive pronouns. if we are using, then it's incorrect. Understood? Therefore, let's understand the third rule. Okay? Now see, here is the third rule for the correct use of pronouns. What this rule says, what is this instruction? Let's understand. So, the complements of a be verb, the complements, that means after the be verb any word is there and without that word our sentence is incomplete. So you understand, in complements means some words must be there in our statement and without them our sentence meaning is incomplete. Therefore some words are called complements. It is a different chapter, we will discuss later on, but we can better understand them. The complements of a be verb means am, is, are, was, were, been, understand? So, the complements of a be verb is always the subjective form of the pronoun. If we are using any pronoun after am, is, are, or was, were, or been, or whatever, be verbs, immediately after them, as a complement, that should be the subjective form. That means, as you know, I is subject, me is object, mine and mine are possessives, and myself are reflexives. So, subjective form means I. Similarly, subjective form we, you, he, she, it, they. They are the subjective form of the personal pronouns. And how we will use them? There are some examples which written over here. Let's understand. So here, see, you understand the complements of a be verb is always the subjective form of the pronoun. The pronoun should always be subjective form, not in any other form. If it is a complement of a be verb in our statement. See, it was he. See, he was is one of the be verbs. And after this be verb, we have used he. It was he who told me about your success. Understand? Therefore, immediately after he, which is functioning as a complement of this be verb, took its subjective form. We cannot use it. It was him. We cannot use. If we are using it is wrong. Similarly, see, if I were he, here where is also a be verb. Immediately after that, he is used as a complement, and therefore it has taken its subjective form of this pronoun. Next, see, if I were he, I would give everything to my friend. But I am not that much rich as you are. So, the statement, concept is like this. So, I am she. Who taught him a lesson? I am she. That means I am that girl. Who taught him a lesson? So, therefore it is a be verb. We have used the subjective form of this pronoun. Similarly, it is I. It is I who invented a new technology to teach. Understand? Therefore, it is I. Sometimes people in our day-to-day conversations, I have been coming across my friends, even those who are highly educated people, those who have grammatical knowledge also, they use it's me sometimes. Instead of using I, they use me, and it is acceptable to some extent as far as we have normal interactions, normal communications, conversations with our friends and with others. But as far as grammatical construction is concerned, it is not correct. We cannot say it's me. We have to say it's I. Because I, which is functioning as a complement, is followed by a be verb. Therefore, according to the rule, we must use the subjective form of this pronoun. Let's understand the next instruction. Let's understand the fourth instruction for using pronouns correctly in accordance to our topic, correct use of pronouns. So what is the fourth such instruction tells us? Let's understand and use confidently. Let's see. The objects of a verb or of a preposition. The objects, what are objects? After the verb, whatever comes in our sentence, they are called the objects. And still, including verb, after the noun, after the subject, we say the predicates. So that you know very well. We are not discussing that. So the objects of a verb, that means a main verb you can say, or of a preposition, prepositions you know, should be in the objective form. That means if any pronoun we use is the object of a verb or object of a preposition, then the form of that pronoun should be objective form. This is the rule. So you be better understood. You see the instructions given over here. You see, between them, the younger is stronger. Understand? Between them, so we cannot use here they, because they is the subjective form. Them is the objective form because it followed by a preposition. It is the object of the preposition. Understood? Similarly, let's the second example. Let you and me. Here you let means what? You can say it is a verb. Understand? Let you and me. Understand? So here you is also the objective form, whereas me is objective form. Let's understand. He has given, you see this is the verb. The object of this verb, he has given a great trouble to my father and me. He has given great trouble to my father and me. Not I, not myself. We cannot use reflexive over here. In accordance to the rule, if any pronoun we use as the object of a verb or of a preposition in our speech or statement, the pronoun must be or should be in their objective form. This is the rule. And the instructions you understand. Here another example is given. None but me. Here you see, but therefore me is a objective form. What's present there? None but me. None. But I, we cannot write. If we write none, but myself, we cannot write. We must write but I, but me was present there instead of I or myself. Or mine, nothing can be used except me, which is the objective form. Understood? So let's understand the next rule. That means the fifth of such rule to correctly use pronouns. Here you see the next rule. That means the fifth rule or the fifth instruction how we can use pronouns correctly. So let's understand this, what it says. See, it says the following verbs, some verbs have been given, are always followed by reflexive pronouns. If there are some verbs followed by any pronoun, that must be the reflexive form of that pronoun. Okay, so what are those verbs? If any pronoun followed by them will be reflexive form, what are they? Let's see. So those verbs like overeat, Overeating, overeat is a verb. Enjoy is another type of verb. Avail, overeat, enjoy, avail. If such verbs are there in our statement or speech while speaking and while writing, and after them, if any pronoun is used, that must be in its reflexive form. Some examples have been given over here, let's understand. You see, he overate himself and fell ill. He himself overate, that means he overate. After this verb, the pronoun used as reflexive because this is the rule. Next, we enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed ourselves. Understand? Because this is enjoyed immediately follows a reflexive form of the pronoun. Next, you should avail. Avail, that means, avail means the meaning to get. Avail means to get, to possess, to take into your own pocket. You understand this? Avail. You are availing marks in your examinations. How much marks you avail? Or did you avail? I availed 92%. People say. Okay, we see you will avail more than 90% in your subsequent examinations. Let's understand this right now. You should avail yourself of this opportunity. You should avail yourself of this opportunity. We understood that if these verbs are used in our sentences and if any pronoun comes immediately after them, they must be in the reflexive form. This is the instruction. We must understand and use. Let's understand the next rule. Okay, next instruction. Here, let's understand the next rule. That means the sixth rule of sixth instruction for correctly using pronouns. What it says? It says reflexive pronouns. That means myself, yourself, himself, itself, themselves, ourselves. These are the reflexive pronouns. These reflexive pronouns are never used as a subject. You can say reflexive pronouns are never used as a subject in our speech or in our statements while writing and speaking, while speaking and writing. Okay, so we cannot make reflexive pronouns as subjects in our sentences. That's all. For example, is given. Let's understand. Mr. Smith and I. So sometimes people, those who have little knowledge about these instructions, they can use myself. Mr. Smith and myself saw it. People speak. We have been coming across people speak while speaking, but though it is day-to-day interaction, nobody is taking that into account. When we take it to grammatical structure, that is wrong. So we cannot make myself, because it is also functioning as a subject. So Mr. Smith is functioning as a subject, I is also functioning as a subject. Therefore, we cannot use here myself, the reflexive form. Let's see the next. Mohan and I. Similarly, the first sentence, and I means here I is also functioning as a subject. So therefore, we have to use its subjective form, but not the reflexive form as a subject. Because as we know that it has a subjective form and we have to use as a subject. Myself is a reflexive form. We can never use it as a subject in our statement. Is normal. Similarly, you see, I myself went there to see the picture. I myself. You see, this can be correct. But here is already the subjective form. Immediately after that, we use the reflexive form. It's okay. It's acceptable. But we cannot write myself went there and to see the picture. We cannot use myself can never be used as a subject. Instead, because it is a reflexive form. Instead. So similarly, next example you see, you can do it yourself. So here is the subject and yourself is a reflexive form of this pronoun. But we cannot use yourself can do it. We cannot say yourself can do it because yourself can never be used at the place of a subject. It can never be used as a subject of this pronoun. Therefore, we understood that reflexive pronouns are never used as subjects in our speech. Okay? Very good. We have the subjective form of those pronouns. We normally use them as a subject, but reflexives never used as subjects. Let's understand the next rule. Here you see the next of such instructions for correctly use of pronouns. This instruction is the seventh such instruction. There are a lot of other instructions are still available. We will continue to understand about them and to use pronouns correctly. Okay, so let's understand the next rule. What is this? Reflexive pronouns are used after a verb plus preposition. Suppose in our sentence, if there is a pronoun that comes after a preposition, which is the verb plus preposition combination, after that it should be used. Reflexive pronouns we can use normally. But there are some restrictions. Restrictions means what? We cannot use the reflexive form of this pronoun if this preposition is indicating as a location or a locality it is talking about, it is position it is talking about, then we cannot use the reflexive form with that subject form after the subject plus preposition combination. You see, so understand again. The reflexive pronouns are normally used after a verb plus a preposition in our sentence, but not when the preposition indicates locality. Locality means a place. That means a certain position. Instead, let's understand from these examples given over here. See, first of such instruction, he spoke to. He spoke, verb to is preposition himself. He spoke to himself. You see, verb plus preposition and the reflexive form of this pronoun. Okay, next is look after yourself. Look after yourself. This verb plus preposition is a combination. After that, we have used the reflexive form of a pronoun. Similarly, did she pay for? Pay is a verb, for is a preposition combination. Did she pay for herself? Instead, did she pay for herself? No, Hari paid for her. Instead, so similarly, another example you see, did you take your dog with you? Here you see, take your dog with. So take with is the verb plus preposition combination, but here we did not use yourself, we have used only you. Instead, so why? Because it is talking about the locality, it is near you, with you. Instead, it is not talking, having any, such other verb plus preposition combinations. Again, another such example, let's say, where we cannot use the reflexive form of the pronoun even if that is followed by a verb plus preposition combination. Let's see. They put the child between them. That means it is talking about a location. Between them is a position. So therefore, here we cannot use the reflexive. We cannot use themselves. We cannot use in accordance to this rule. If we use this reflexive form, it is grammatically incorrect, and we are incorrect. Therefore, we have to use it is talking about the locality or the certain location or the position or point. So therefore, we cannot use the reflexive form. But normally, after the verb plus prepositions, most verbs, preposition combinations, we can use the reflexive form. And this can be only availed by practice, by reading and listening more and more. This particular rule I am telling you. So those who are regular readers and listeners, they can better understand. They can also use with confidence. So students, today we understood several instructions to use pronouns correctly. They are not only this much. There are several other rules we will understand in next class. And for today's class, only we understood 7 such instructions for correct use of pronouns. Next class, we will understand some more such instructions as well as we will practice the exercise followed by the instructions for correct use of pronouns. And for today, only this much. Okay? So, try to understand, revise these videos again and again. You can better understand, give your comments, positive and negative comments. We have been waiting for your comments. And if you like, give likes. And if you dislike, give dislikes. I appreciate with everything. Therefore, if you have any problem, you have my phone number, you can contact me, and immediately, anytime, I will have positive response for your requests and try to clarify all your doubts. You are very free, very friendly to have doubt clearances. Okay, normally we have also doubt clearance classes that can also be clarified, but personally also you can communicate and clarify your doubts. And for today, only this much. Thank you.